Hello, my name is Camille Corbett, and I am going to do a book review on Mythology by Edith Hamilton. And this is the book. It looks terrible. Ladies and gentlemen, I bought this book a month ago, and it already looks like it went through a shit tons of hurricanes. I just messed up that so badly, and I tried to play it off. And that didn't really work out, but that's okay. Anyways, we're going to continue, and it looks terrible. It looks like I shit on it, and then I vomited on it, and I ripped it. But that's okay, because this is books, and it's what is inside that matters, and not on the outside. Though the outside tends to be really cool most of the time. Anyways, this is why I have a Kindle and not a real book, because this is what I do to real books. Do not give me real books, ever. Anyways, this book was wonderful. A lot of you probably are already familiar with it. I know that a lot of high schools require people to read it, or college classes, so I'm just going to tell you that it's not that bad if you're ever required to read it, and it'll assuage your fears, or maybe you'll pick it up. The reason why I picked up this book was my senior year of high school. We did a lot of Greek mythology, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to read Percy Jackson. I'm going to learn everything. And, well, I pretty much learned all of Greek mythology through Percy Jackson. Well, a majority of it, at least. However, I did this show. I did King Lear, and I was telling everyone, this shows with English majors and theater majors who are really into stuff like Greek mythology and all these Greek tragedies and Shakespeare, and I was like, yeah, I learned all my Greek mythology from Percy Jackson, and everyone just looked at me like, are you retarded? And because I'm an English major, it's something so very shameful, so everyone told me to pick up this book and read it because this is the best mythology starter offer book that is available, and it's been around for a while. It's been the standard mythology book for a while, so I picked it up and I decided that I was going to no longer be retarded or be ill. I guess not scholastically informed, because I guess Percy Jackson isn't an acceptable form of knowledge for mythology in the scholastic circles or whatever pretentious bullshit they want to tell me, because Percy Jackson helped me understand this a lot. Anyways, so I read this book, and I have to say it was phenomenal. It wasn't boring at all, like I was expecting. It was pretty nice. It was really well written. There was lots of imagery. It was able to connect with the reader, and I love that it was able to connect with the reader, even though it was written about 50 years ago, or even more than that. I'm not particularly certain. I probably should have researched this before I did the review, but I know that it was many years ago, and it was about the age of my mother. Coincidentally, today's my mother's birthday. She is 61. Congratulations to her for surviving past the Cold War, or through the Cold War. I don't think that, whatever, I'm not going to continue whatever spiel I was saying, because it's time for mythology. I shall read you a bit of this so you can understand, and this is about Leto. If you don't know who Leto is, then you should read Percy Jackson. I'm just kidding. You should read this book, because this is a great source. And if you're a writer and you need to know more about mythology, if you're an English major like me, or if you're a theater major like a lot of people are, you should read it. Or if you just want to be knowledgeable about mythology and understand certain allusions, you should read it. If you're young, you should definitely read it. Then you'll seem really smart when you start making Greek allusions, or when you start knowing them in class. So read that. Let me read this to you, because I'm starting to drone on, and I hate that. Leto. She was the daughter of the Titans Phoebe and Chaos. Zeus loved her, but when she was about to bear a child, he abandoned her, afraid of Hera. All countries and islands, afraid for the same reason, refused to receive her and give her a place where her child could be born. On and on she wandered in desperation until she reached a bit of land which was floating on the sea. It had no foundation, but was tossed hither and thither by the waves and winds. It was called Delos, and besides being of all of the islands the most insecure, it was rocky and barren. But when Leto set foot on it and asked for a refuge, the little isles welcomed her gladly, and at the moment 4 lofty pillars rose from the bottom of the sea and held it firmly anchored forever. There Leto's children were born, Artemis and Phoebus Apollo. And in after years Apollo's glorious temple stood there, visited by men all over the world. The barren rock was called the Heaven-Built Isle, and from being the most despised, it became the most renowned of all islands. See, it's very not boring, very interesting. Great writer, Edith Hamilton. Great expert in Greek, and not only Greek mythology, but it also has Norse mythology, if you're ever interested in that, which I found lovely. I also liked how she would give sources for the mythology, like she'd say, Ovid wrote about this. It was just nice to have that. Or Homer wrote about it. It was just nice. It was very nice to have that, to understand in case you ever want to go back to it and read the actual like epics or anything. So I would check this book out. It was very good. I know that I'm in college and so I'm not reading as quickly as I usually am and producing as much videos, but I promise that will change because this book was a little bit much. It wasn't able to flow as quickly. However, last night I read this book and there'll be a book review coming up on that, and I promise that I will start reading like books that will flow better. So have a lovely day. Bye.